Hi YouTube. So this is the first video of a new series that I wanted to start where I'm trying to interview people about their careers and their experiences in their careers. Today I will be interviewing Ruben, who is a friend of mine. He has a background in marketing and he is currently working as a communication advisor at the university. I quickly want to mention that the first 2.5 minutes the audio was pretty bad. That was because I was struggling with the recording software, and after that we switched to a different software. So that's why. Apologies for that. The rest of the video, the audio should be consistent. Let me know what you think and enjoy. Hey, Ruben, thanks for joining me. Just like a quick intro. I wanted to do this to interview a couple of friends, or at least I will start off with friends or people that I know from different backgrounds, and to ask them about their job experience and their daily life, the work-life balance, and these kind of things, for the purpose of learning a bit more about my own friends, but also to give that as an additional input to viewers maybe who are just starting their job or are looking to change or just simply interested in other people's work experience.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, I know you already for quite some time. I always forget how long it is, but
I wouldn't dare to say. I think
right?
a little bit more than 10 years. Yeah, around 10
Yeah.
years.
Well, but would you mind give a short introduction to, yeah, like who you are and maybe your education and what you're working as right now?
Um, Ruben, I studied commercial economics. The name of the study later changed to marketing, which I think suits me better because I'm working in communications at the university. So I'm not really that commercial, at least not in my current position. I used to work at a company that sold car parts, and I was more into marketing at the time. And now it's focused more on communications and everything that comes with it. So creating websites and sending newsletters and using social media for exposure.
Or would you say, like, for the people who are not so, because I have also marketeers at my company, I know a bit what you used to do and what you did, but how would you describe marketing in a couple of sentences?
Getting people to know about your product or getting them to buy the product, probably.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty concise.
Just in one sentence,
Yeah, that's pretty
usually.
good. That's pretty
I'm
good.
making them more knowledgeable. Like my task also to make the university more well known within the region, but also within the whole Netherlands.
Like you mentioned already, you're working for a university, which is quite interesting to work in marketing, I imagine, because you are not necessarily really selling a product, or are you? Like
Yes,
what?
so now my official term is communication advisor, although not really advising anyone because I'm the only communication person within the team. So people are more like advising me, and I spread their message across several platforms.
To me, if I think about at least my background, when I did mechanical engineering, there were some companies that made a lot of sense for you to start working for, and then there were some companies that were completely unrelated to your field. And I know people who
Mm.
were both working at, the one that made more sense and something completely different. How would you scale yourself in that continuum, let's say? Is it something that makes a lot of sense to work for a university, or is it more of the
That's an interesting question. I would say my first step was towards commercial company that sold car parts. So that was probably a more logical step from commercial economics.
Mhm.
I see a lot of old classmates who are now starting up their own companies. A lot of things in AI because it's just booming. Most of them in AI actually, when I think about it now. But also people working at like Greets or Hallmark, the postcard company. But it's also commercial. So I would say that non-commercial is not the most logical step. It's also not really illogical. Like they also need communication people over there
Yeah.
and
So
people going to insurance companies and stuff, which I think is a little bit like universities. It feels semi-governmental, although it's not. It's a little bit more commercial.
yeah. There's probably more money to be made there, I imagine.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not that familiar, but I reckon it is. Yeah.
Hmm. I was thinking because I remember something that you told me that you are also one of the more younger people at your office,
Yeah, true.
which also entails kind of that. you are the technical computer guy, which is
Hmm.
maybe why they want you to do the AI stuff.
We have two young people, like under 35. I
Under
didn't want to say
35.
under 30 to hurt you.
All right.
Um, and she got a commercial background, not a commercial, but a communication background as well. But she's not working in communication. We usually invite primary schools or high schools over to make them familiar with the university or with science. And a lot of people are working with the students. We also have some people focused more on the teacher side at high school. We have like a teacher academy, and their teachers from high schools are invited to come to the university, and they will get more knowledge and a course from university professor.
So the work that you're doing specifically is something that you basically do on your own, and the other stuff is really facilitating around that, or you're facilitating actually that what you are doing is being spread into the world to the people, kind of.
Basically, I'm the only one who works in every project. Like everyone is focused on one project, and I'm the communication guy who's working in every project. So
Oh yeah,
I tend to work with everyone. Also, a couple of external parties like gemeentes. I forgot the English word.
municipalities.
Municipalities. I like that word. Yeah.
There's one thing that triggers me now, which is that you are, as one of the few people in your work environment, working on multiple projects. And I've seen many of these cases. I am also one of these where you are not in one project, but in multiple ones, which puts you in a very interesting position. It can be a luxury position, but it can also be more pressure. And I wonder how you are experiencing that. For me, I feel that it gives you the power to delay certain things or basically prioritize what you find more interesting or fun to do, because the other projects can probably not fully oversee what you're working on completely. Is that the case for you, or is it more something that gives you extra stress?
It can be quite nice at times, but also last summer, I postponed a couple of tasks that got really close to the due date all at the same time. So I couldn't manage to do all of them, but I still said like, yeah, I will do it in time, but I couldn't manage. So then was like, I should have told them like I wasn't able to do it anymore within the time, but I didn't
Mm.
like to make them feel bad or make myself feel bad by not being able to do it. A lot of times it's more the nice position in which you can focus on tasks you like and postpone the ones you don't really like.
You can kind of say with great power comes great responsibility, in a sense that you have
Yeah.
the power to push back and delay and maybe make your own planning for a quite large part. But if you delay everything for too long, it will bite you in the ass, basically. Like there will be a time that all the deadlines line up and then maybe you cannot manage to get that done, right? That's kind
Yeah, I think
of,
it goes both ways. Also, in that like, if I wouldn't do anything for a day, don't think anybody would notice.
right,
If I work really hard for a day, I don't think anybody would notice it either because I'm working on a lot of different projects. So they're more
right.
like, okay, he did this thing, but I did a lot of things, but they don't notice because it's on several projects.
So that's good bridge to your kind of work enjoyment and work-life balance. What can you say about that topic?
I actually had a course today about grip op je werk. So it was work. So it was how would you translate that? Getting a
Grip on your work? I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
grip on your
And now it
work.
was more about Outlook and how you can manage to make sure all your tasks are well documented and well put in your schedule.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, and that really helps me a lot because I also get, like, if I have a day in which I don't get that much done, it makes me feel quite kind of meh. I don't really like that kind of days. And days in which I get done more are usually the better days. However, it can also be quite tiring. So I would say somewhere in the middle is the sweet spot for me. Like there are some days when I'm working from home and I have the time to go to the gym in between and work some longer in the evening. And those days are my perfect days, I would say. Like still get my social moments in the evening, gym time in the middle of the day, and
Hey, we have a guest.
hey, and work done in between. So those are my favorite moments.
In summary, I think what you said was that you enjoy, or the best days are when you can work from home and you can, during the day, you can go to the gym and then in the evening you can work a little bit longer, right? I think
Yeah,
you
basically,
I
or at
remember
least sporting. Like in the summer, I was like doing calisthenics or
calisthenics. Yeah.
swimming can also work at times, but gym is like the more basic answer.
What do you think are the key factors that inhibit you from being effective and efficient during your day? So why are some days better than others, basically? What's blocking you?
But I think it was the same when I was studying. There were also better days and worse days. It definitely focused, but I don't know what influences my focus the most? Like if my phone is nearby and I'm busy texting or something, that definitely ruins my focus. No, actually, what influences the most? Definitely a good night of sleep as well. Like I know you're, don't know if I'm spoiling it now with your sleeping a lot right now. Do you feel more focused?
I have to say, I feel really good. I feel really rested. My body is very rested. But one thing I can already kind of spoil is that I also do get sleepy after lunch, and also at night when it starts to get dark, I'm starting to get sleepy already, even though I had like a 9 hour or 9.5 hour sleep already that night.
Mhm.
So I feel like the sleepiness that you feel can also, it's not necessarily related to the amount of sleep that you get. When do you go to bed basically, and when do you wake up for work?
I try to go to bed like 11, but I usually don't fall asleep right away. I usually stay awake until I can play Wordle. Like if it's only like 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I can play that. And it gets a little bit past 12, but I also tend to wake up quite late. Also, if I have to go to the university itself, I don't want to be stuck in a traffic jam. So going early just means staying in my car for longer.
Yeah.
So I either get up later or I start to work from home and then go to the office afterwards, which can be nice because I can make like a day planning of what I want to do in the day and then go to the office and make sure I do it.
So you have a pretty flexible arrangement with your job as well, like because I always thought like working at university, you have to be there at certain times and are finished at certain times, but you're of course not a teacher or anything, right? So you can
No, yeah,
basically
that
work from
definitely helps
home.
for me.
Yeah.
I was supposed to, if I was planning to go to work today, but I had the grip op je werk course, which took longer than I was hoping it would. So I didn't go to work because it would only been for a couple of hours and I would have been in the car for a long time. So it's definitely quite flexible. Maybe one of the more flexible jobs. I don't know how to compare it. My job at a car parts selling company was definitely less flexible. They wanted you
Mhm.
to be at work at most times. Maybe one day working from home.
What would you say to people? So now you've already experienced at your age, you've worked at two different places, two different employers, basically. What would you say were the biggest learnings, and what might you advise someone who is just starting off in your field or in any field, perhaps? What are the things that you would look for in the next job?
I would say, but it's probably general advice that jobs at the start of your career, salary doesn't matter that much. Although you also can take your salary with you to the next company, so you shouldn't neglect it completely. As I wasn't getting paid that much in my first job, and I feel like I'm getting paid quite generously right now. But I did learn a lot at my first job, also with how working itself works. Because I was quite, my chair just went down. I was quite confident in being a student and rocking the student life. And then when you have to go to work, it's all new. So I was also quite tensed at how I would manage and cope with working life and whether I would be any good at it. And I think now I'm quite good at it, but also get my satisfaction more about being a fun colleague than doing my job the best I can. Like I do want to do my job well enough that people want to keep me around, but I get more gigs out of being a nice colleague and people having fun when they're around me. At least when I'm in or at location, if I'm working from home, I don't care too much about that, and I'm more focused on my job and managing, maybe going sporting if I have the time or something. But when I'm in the office, I tend to focus on being the fun colleague and making
Nice.
sure everybody feels nice.
I can definitely see that you are really a fun guy to be around, and I can imagine
Nice.
being working on the floor with you must be really nice. There are many moments in my day that I'm really thinking like, okay, what would Ruben do? How would Ruben try to solve this? Or what kind of attitude would you have basically in the same situation? So yeah,
That's such a nice compliment. You told me. I like
yeah,
that.
you're a big source of inspiration for me, which is also why I think that many of the things and insights that you have and said will resonate with a lot of people, especially also the kind of having a more relaxed approach to work, maybe not seeing it as the goal itself, if I interpret that correctly. So
Yeah,
work
that's
in
definitely
itself,
correct.
yeah.
But I'm not sure if I'm the most relaxed one. I do tend to stress about it, but I don't tend to feel that stress with working harder or longer days. I just keep the stress and then I get rid of it by going to sports after work or something.
Okay,
Which
yeah,
I'm
you
not
have a
sure if
different
it's the
outlet.
best attitude, but works.
I think we touched upon work-life balance, how you feel, the companies you worked for.
I do like my freedom in my current job. I wouldn't go back to a job where you have to go to the office every day or where they're really controlling you. Not even if the pay is any better. Like that will be quite mandatory for me to be able to work from home and being able to get days off. So although I'm quite bad at taking them off, I always feel like I'm the only communication person within the office. So when I'm gone, that just nobody can pick
No
it
one
up.
will know how to communicate anymore.
Yeah, so they're not talking to each other anymore.
It seems like you have the feeling that you are important.
They really do give me that feeling, but it does make it harder to take days off. Like I wanted to go to Belgium next week, but I'm thinking of maybe cutting it down 1 week to work 1 day more. But only because I'm afraid they won't be able to do what I do.
Interesting. So so there's a really nice balance there where you got a lot of freedom, but you also feel like you are quite important for the company, that you cannot be away for too long.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't matter if I take like 4 hours off within a day, but if I take like 4 days off, I'm not sure if they would matter, but it feels to me like they might.
I think you also find that deadlines are pretty fluid. They are, at least
Yeah,
from my experience, they can always be shifted back.
I'm starting to learn that, but it still feels always stressful when it's coming close.
Um, I think
I
the
think we have
recording
to.
time is over. It was nice talking to you, Ruben.
Yeah, same. I like that. That's good.
So, guys, this was the first episode of this series. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. If you would want to change something or want to learn different things, also let me know. And if you like the idea, but you would like to add a couple of things, all these things can be very valuable for me. I think it will be nice to grow this into a collection of different people, and to learn a bit more about other people's daily lives and especially work career. So let me know what you think and have a nice day.